All right, guys, are we streaming? Let's go to on my streaming software page. So let's go to YouTube and see if we're actually streaming. It looks like we are. Amazing. That's what we like to see. Welcome, everybody, to the studio. Happy Monday. I hope you had a great weekend. Feeling like fall and wearing a sweater. We'll see if I regret that if it gets really warm as you're working in the studio sometimes. But right now it's super cozy and I love it. So it's good to talk to you on Monday morning. We are going to go over what the kids are doing in classes this week. You'll notice it says week 5 of October. This is actually October's 5th video. If you remember, we had like Wednesday was the day that October started. So we've got a lot of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday classes this week that are actually their 5th week, and that really affects our schedule. So we're going to talk about that in our next slide, as well as in housekeeping as a reminder to everybody for classes. Monday and Tuesday classes have been like quote unquote behind the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday classes, like for the whole month. But the good news is starting next week, Monday starts the beginning of the month and all is right with the world. So we're almost through it, I promise, this weird month. It is the 4th week for Monday and Tuesday, and it is the 5th week for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Because of that, there are no classes on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday this week. And when I say no classes, I mean the regular classes. We do have some Halloween special classes happening on Thursday through our special events page. And if you're signed up for that, we will definitely be here. If you're not signed up for that and you do want to join, I think there's like one spot left in all of them. But otherwise, we have no regular classes. If you normally come on a Wednesday, normally come on a Thursday, or normally come on a Friday, you're not going to come to the class this week. So here's what the week looks like. You'll see Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, no regular classes. That is a planned day off. That is because we have, distracted squirrel. That is because this is the 5th Wednesday, 5th Thursday, and 5th Friday. Monday and Tuesday, we have all of our drawing and multimedia classes, but we do not have preschool classes. And that's because you guys only meet 3 times a month. We've already had your 3 times a month, so we don't need to have you come on the 4th time. Okay. If you have questions on that, send me a message, let me know. And as a reminder, you can always find your class schedule inside your Sawyer account. So here's my preschool update slide. You'll see it says that, oh, does it say stop streaming? Am I still streaming? I did something and it felt like maybe I messed it up. We'll find out. Hopefully all is well. My screen changed. But you'll see there are no preschool classes this week. We start November next week. So I think that was my only note on preschool. That really threw me off. We did our, October was all about lines, right? So September was about dots. We looked at the Arctic Kandinsky and we looked at chalk pastels. October was about clay. We did lines and we did Mondrian. We move into November and it's all about Matisse and it's about pattern. And it's the only time of the year that we get out the paint pendulum. So I hope you guys are excited for that. Let's move on to the next slide. Okay. I feel like, let's do that. All right. I hope I'm going to go see if I'm still live. Otherwise, I'll talk to myself for 30 minutes and then have to redo it again. Hopefully all is well. Let's go through our multimedia classes. So it's clay month. Thursday classes, you guys finished painting all of your clay projects last week and you took them home. If for some reason you didn't and you still need some more time, maybe you missed a class in October, maybe you just took longer to paint your project, and that is a-okay. If you need more time, whether you missed a class or not, those makeup times are available for you, so we would love to see you during one of those sessions. You can make an RSVP on the website. If you're like, I don't even know where to do that, Allison, go to any Orange Easel webpage. Scroll to the very bottom, and it'll say for current students, makeups, class schedules, and more. Click on that link and just follow down the rabbit hole. It'll help you make a reservation for your studio, okay? So I did bring a couple examples from our Monday, Tuesday classes here in Liberty because Thursday's classes aren't in the class cubby anymore. I tried to pick ones that were not green because my green screen makes it so you can't see those things, but I did want to show you some of the progress we have and the different types of sculptures we have happening. So this one here is a clay sculpture from an artist, and they've made it have little ears on it. It even has a little tail here on the backside, and they have a lot of painting to do this week when they come to class. We've got the whole inside, we've got the whole bottom, and we still got the outside. So lots of work to do on that one. This one's a little bit closer. So we've got, and most of them in the closet probably look a little bit closer like this, right? Where maybe we still have to paint the bottom. Um, and there are still some, little bits of clay kind of showing through that maybe we'll get a second cover on, or maybe they wanted to put some detail work in, but they couldn't do it while it was wet. So now that it's dry, we could do all of that. So we can add little tiny brushes and do some detail work. But these will go home. We'll write up an artist statement, and those will go home this week. And the next week we'll start all of our November ink projects. Just in case people are only watching their section, there are no K-3 multimedia classes on Thursday this week. So if you come to a Thursday class, usually don't come this week. All right, my 4th and 5th and homeschool classes. I also brought examples for you guys. So let me actually just brought maybe just the one. A lot of them were green, so I was like, well, I can't show that one. Nobody will be able to see it. But look at these clay creatures and critters. They did such a wonderful job of getting all of their detail on it. Remember, this is completely designed by our artist. So this is not the instructor's vision. This is an artist who had an idea in their brain. They maybe sketched it out on the paper and then they brought it to life. So we have to problem solve and as like obstacles come up throughout the process, especially working with sculpture because gravity. But they did an amazing job. They will finish painting. So if there's some detail work on here that they still need to do, they'll finish painting this week and then take them home. Again, this is from a Monday, Tuesday class. Thursday classes, you guys took your projects home last week and you do not have class this week. We'll see you in the next week in November for our ink projects. Monday and Tuesday classes will get your projects finished up this week and sent home with you. If you don't finish and you need more time, make sure you sign up for that makeup session. All right, for our big kids, our 6th, 7th, and 8th, 12th, we've been making these canopic jars, inspired canopic jars. They're not actually, they don't quite have the limitations and parameters of a true Egyptian canopic jar, but they are inspired by that. So I thought I'd show you some of the work that we have. This involves quite a bit of skill in sculpting and then also in painting. And they've done an amazing job. You can see it opens up and it fits together. I love like on the little head, look at the gradient that's inside the ears. Such amazing details that they have. I've got it on backwards too because that's the tail. So let's do it this way. Here you go. I apologize to this artist as I show your artwork. I was going to see who it was, but I show your artwork wrong. But such a fun thing. So they'll finish these this week. Let me show you one more. See if I can get it. I'm going to see if I can get it going the right way. I'm not sure. Look at this. I think it maybe goes this way because it fits better this way. Look at this guy. He's a little kitty cat. I love the matte black finish on this one. It's so sleek. It fits together. We've got pink little ears on him and his eyes are closed and he's so cute. It's completely covered. So this artist looks like they've got a lot done. They've got the back or the bottom even painted and everything on the inside. So they did an amazing job. They might be all done if they want to put maybe a coat of paint on the white, just so you have a little bit more coverage on the black, they could do that. But we might have some artists back there that are like, I finished painting last week. And if that's the case, that is A-okay. We'll have something for them to do in class. It's not a problem. But our goal is that everybody finishes in class this week if you're a Monday, Tuesday class, and then you can take your project home. If you're in a Thursday class, hopefully you did finish last week because you do not have class this week. And then if you didn't, though, make sure you sign up for a makeup session and come in and we'll get that painted. Okay? All right. Double check all that stuff. Let's move on. There are no creative explorations classes this week. So just like our fundamentals classes, you guys are a 3-time-a-month class. Unlike drawing and multimedia that are 4 times, you guys come 3 times, meaning you always have an off week. This is your off week. And so no creative explorations classes this week. And if you're thinking, gosh, Allison, it feels like we've had more than one off week this month, you're exactly right. And that's because there are 5 Wednesdays and 5 Fridays in the month of October. For our Drawing 101 classes, so I brought drawing stuff. So I'm going to slide my clay stuff out of the way here. And then I have a stack of drawing sketchbooks to go through. I cannot wait for November's drawing. I love October's drawing curriculum, but I can't wait for November's for the sole reason that we can get back to the fact that like the whole week is on the same lesson as opposed to me trying to remember that like we've got people at the early part of the week that are doing different things than people in the later part of the week. So a couple more journals here. Let me grab them. And then I've got my 103s like way over there. So I'll have to stand up and go grab those. All right. So if you're in a Thursday 101 class, I got to get my notes for this, you guys. It's been a long month. So if you're in a Wednesday or a Thursday drawing 101 class, I always have to remember there's a Wednesday class here in Liberty. If you're in a Wednesday or a Thursday drawing 101 class, last week you drew leaves from observation. And then this week you don't have class. Okay, so I'll say that again. Wednesday or Thursday classes. Last week you drew leaves from observation, and that's what I'm going to show here. And then you do not have class this week. That's because it's the 5th Wednesday and the 5th Thursday of the month. So don't come to class this week. So let me show you what they've been doing. We used colored pencils to draw our leaves. There's a lot going on in these leaf drawings. So in our leaf drawings, we have to first establish the shape, like the contour of the shape, which is the line that goes around our leaf, and leaves come in all different shapes, right? We have to notice that the contour of our leaf is not perfect because it's a nature element, right? So it's going to be jagged, it might be torn, it might be rotted out, like there are imperfections within those leaves. We also have to look at the form of a leaf because it is a three-dimensional object. So as it curls in on itself or just kind of bends or folds, we've got to get that established on there. And that is often shown in both the contour as well as in the value. And then we have the added challenge of the color. So, which is great. That's what we love about fall leaves, are all these really great colors. So we got to mix some colors and layer in some colored pencils, and lots going on in this lesson. So that's what they did. Now, if you're in a Monday or a Tuesday class, you are doing that lesson this week. So last week you drew your jack-o'-lanterns with chalk pastels, and this week you will do these leaves. Okay? So that's what's happening. All right, and then in our realistic class, so in our 102 advanced realistic class, Monday and Tuesday's classes drew haunted houses. And so that's what I brought to show you. We don't have any Wednesday, Thursday advanced realistic classes here in Liberty. I do not believe that Plattwoods does either. If there are any, don't come to class this week. Okay. These are Monday and Tuesday's haunted houses. Now, this is a linear perspective lesson. So it uses rulers, a vanishing point. This is a 1-point perspective. So it has a singular vanishing point. We're trying to establish that this house is sitting in its 3 dimensions, and all of the orthogonal lines go to the vanishing point. There's another great one. You'll notice we've got siding on this house, and the siding on this side goes to the vanishing point. Right? That's a really good one. And here's another one. Now you'll notice these are pretty bare bones houses. There's not a lot of detail going on in here. This is 90 minutes of a lesson in practice and drawing. It is a lot of brain power and math and measuring and figuring and erasing that happens in these drawings. This week, these artists will have a wildcard lesson. And the reason we do a wildcard lesson is because oftentimes our drawings at the end of the 90 minutes looks like this. And you think, gosh, if I only had another class period to work on it, or if I had another class period to work on those bats, or if I had another class period to work on that pumpkin still life, whichever lesson that they want to keep working on, to finish, to polish, to get help on, to revisit, that's what wildcard is for. So this week, our 103 Advanced Realistic classes will have a wildcard week where it is, it's not a play period or like a party time. It is just, it's artist's choice on which one of these lessons they're going to dive back into and finish. Okay. And we have that based on the feedback that we've gotten from the kids, is that they feel like they're always moving on to something that like new, and they never get to finish anything. So this is why at the end of the month we have a wildcard week. All right. Illustrative classes. Oh, I got to move this. So sorry. Illustrative classes. Let's talk through them. If you're like, I know some people probably watch the slideshow and you find the little like you find when the heading changes on the thumbnail in order to find the part about your class. If you were wanting realistic, I forgot to switch the slideshow while still talking about 101. So if you want 102 advanced realistic, just back up your little cursor just a little bit because I just finished talking about it, but then I forgot to switch the slide. So we're going to talk about illustrative. So in our illustrative classes, now I know that we have Thursday illustrative classes. So if you're in a Wednesday illustrative class or a Thursday illustrative class, you do not have class this week. Do not come. It is your fifth class of the month. It's your fifth week. And so we only meet 4 times because that's not fair to everybody else. If you get to meet 5 times and they only get to meet 4. So it's an off day for you guys. Don't come on Wednesday or Thursday, okay? For our Wednesday and Thursday artists last week, though, we did our figures and motions lesson. So I did bring a couple examples of that, and I wanted to show you. So we're working from our mannequins, and it is very stick figure. We're trying to get dynamic poses. Once we have them in those poses, then we will be able to start fleshing them out, for lack of a better word, right? Putting not just skeletal, but musculature, and then clothing, and facial features and hair and hands and feet, right? All those things that we already kind of learned. Let's see if there's another page here. I don't think there is. I think it was just the 2. So there's one example of some of our poses. We have different mannequins that we use. Can I get them in that pose? Is there another one? I liked this artist because she's got a little thumbnail sketch up here that shows almost like a flip book of what that mannequin could be doing. So I love that. Come on. Here's another one. So we started to add, more on top of that kind of base armature. Again, another little thumbnail sketch up here. That's a really great tool for artists to get in the habit of doing is small little thumbnail sketches, just to plan, kind of get your brain around what's happening. So for my illustrative classes, again, Thursday classes did that last week. This is, yep, that's a Thursday journal that I was looking at. Wednesday, Thursday classes, you did that lesson. Is that correct? Hang on. Yeah. Nope, I'm sorry. I was wrong. This is a Thursday journal, but you guys had a wild card week last week. So, obviously that was a lesson, or maybe it was worked on in wildcard, but that was previously. So Monday, Tuesday classes, you guys have a wild card this week. So last week you did figures in motion. Thursdays last week had a wild card. This week, Monday, Tuesdays, you guys will have a wild card week. And that is where you can go back and you can revisit any of those drawings that you've done and continue to flesh them out and make them finished. That can be from the hair, heads, and faces lesson. That can be from hands and feet lesson. That can be figures in motion lesson. So any of those if you want to start fleshing them out. When we get into November, we're going to start exploring more stylistic choices that we do in illustrative drawing. And so we really want this base, knowledge of characters to be something they're very comfortable with. Okay? So that's what's happening Monday, Tuesday, again, wild card this week, Wednesday, Thursday, no classes this week. All right, 103. I'm going to reach over here on my printer and grab the realistic. Because they're so big, so they didn't fit on my desk. So they've been working on these illustrations of, which way to go? This way? There it is. Of different insects and working pretty big with colored pencils. There were a lot of really great ones back there. I had to pick ones that weren't green. There's another really good one. Hang on, I'm gonna pull the reference photo off of it. I love the composition on this one. So they did a butterfly. These are choices that our artists make, right? So this artist chose to center her insect right in the middle. This artist chose to draw only half of it. So it's actually close cropped and we're only seeing half of this beautiful, I think it's a moth. Not real well versed in my insect knowledge, but look at all these amazing colors that she has going on with colored pencils. And this is really smooth and very, there's a gradient happening. And you can't see her mark, which is like what we would call a brush stroke when you're drawing. So she's done a great job of coloring. Set that one to the side. Let's look at our 103 in illustrative. So they've been working on their projects. Remember, they had two parts. One was a trading card where they designed original characters and then made trading cards for them. So these guys are inked and then colored. They are in the style of Charles Schultz, who's our artist for the month. So we were trying to get a similar line weight character, an illustrative style of Charles Schultz. I think this artist really nailed it. And then once we had our characters, then our job was to build a story for them and cast them in that story as a 3-panel. This is a different character set, but I thought it was a really great example of that simple storyline. So again, illustrative drawing where we're all the way inked and all the way colored is what we're looking for, something that's very clean. So for our 103 artists, Thursday classes finished their artwork last week. So you guys would have taken that stuff home. You should be all done. If for some reason you didn't in our 103 illustrative or our 103 realistic, please, please, please sign up for a makeup session. Come on in and hang out with us. We'd love to see you. The studio is yours. Even if you didn't miss a class, if you just need more studio time, this is your studio. We'd love to see you. Liberty is here on Wednesday nights. Flatwoods is there on Friday nights, with the exception of Halloween next week. We will not be there. And then just come on in and spend that time working. If that doesn't work for you, send us a message so we can figure out an alternative time. For my Monday and Tuesday classes, you guys still have one more class period. So hopefully we'll see you this week and we'll get everything finished up. But again, if you don't, that same invitation extends to you. Couple housekeeping things. All right, first and foremost, just a reminder, no preschool classes this week. No creative explorations classes this week. No Wednesday, Thursday drawing or multimedia classes this week. If you don't know if you have class or not, you can find it inside your Sawyer schedule, right? So you can do that, and you just go to that For Current Students webpage. It's always linked in this email. It's also linked in the footer of every webpage. Okay. And then a couple notes that just didn't make the bullet points that I wanted to mention. In next week's video, we're going to start talking a lot, and in all of the November videos, we're going to talk a lot about what Thanksgiving does to our class schedule. We'll talk through that. We're also going to talk about the spring semester enrollment and what that looks like for current students. You guys have more options. You get early access, and you have a lot more options in terms of how you register and like what works best for your family. So we're going to talk through that a little bit. And then the last little note I had was that the holiday gift guide drops next week. I think on Saturday morning it goes out. It is all done. Or I shouldn't say it's all done. It's mostly done. It's drafted, and we're just testing links. I actually sent it to Miss Stephanie today and was like, will you proofread me and test all these links? So she's looking at that, and once I get her go ahead, then we'll finalize it and get it scheduled to go out. So if you're interested in what we recommend for supplies, it's the list of things that we actually use here in the studio, which are super cost effective and student grade. But if you're looking for chalk pastels for home, or if you're looking for dot markers, or if you're looking for, we've got all of that stuff in a gift guide that are tried and true products that we would recommend to you. So that's coming out. It's kind of a magazine style, but it's a PDF, so it's a digital. It has embedded links, and so completely free. We'd happy to give it to you. We'd love to give it to you. Let me know. The links will be in the email that we send out when we send out this video. It's also linked. It's on social media. I don't think it's on the homepage of the website yet. I'll put it on there today so you guys can find it. All right. So I think that's it. I hope everybody has hang on, let's switch the screen. There you go. Where's my coffee? I hope everybody has a great week. If you need anything from me, please don't hesitate to reach out. I know it's a busy time of year. So just, hang in there, everybody. We can do it. I'll chat with you soon.